Okay. Yeah, so we are good to go. Spada, you can start with the first round.
Okay. All right. Good evening, Harold. We received
Good
your
evening.
good evening. So we received your resume, and we have seen that you have been working on Python language. So today we will be conducting your interview based on the same. So are you comfortable with the same? The same
Yes,
language?
yes,
Okay.
I'm comfortable.
All right. So Harold, so first of all, tell me, how do we write a program in Python? What are the basic things that we need to take care of?
In Python, mainly the Python program is case sensitive, so we should make sure we write it by differentiating between upper and lower cases. And one of the major difference from other languages is that for Python, we don't use curly braces or defining function or classes. We have indentation in Python. Those are the main differences in Python when we compare with other languages like Java.
Okay. So what is a suit? Can you tell me what is a suit?
Suit.
Yeah, suit in Python.
Suit. Sorry, I don't know about suit in Python.
Okay. Anyways, no problem. So anyways, it's just a group of statements. Okay, suit is a group of statements that is used to define a block. So like when you're defining your classes or a function, or even if you're writing the loops. So in the header part, you're defining the class name or the function name, and in the suit, you're writing the entire set of code of what is to be defined for the class or for the function. So that part is known as a suit. Okay, so that is fine.
Okay.
All right. Okay, just tell me what are the different types of data types in Python?
In Python, there are many built-in data types. Let me start with numerical data types first.
Uh-huh.
There is an integer data type for numbers. I will just show how to initialize the integer data type. Suppose n is a variable, we can initialize it like this. And the next data type is float, which can be used for storing decimals.
Okay.
And we can initialize it like n equals 3.6. And the another numerical data type is complex, and they are used for storing complex numbers in the form, for example, 3 plus 4j. It can be initialized like this. Yes, and the other types of data types are list. List is just like arrays in any other programming languages. They are mutable. That is, we can add or remove objects into a list after it is initialized. It can be initialized with square brackets.
Okay.
And the one of the other data type that is very similar to list but have a small difference is tuple. Tuple can be initialized with round brackets, and the one of the main difference is that in tuple we cannot add or remove objects after it is initialized. It is immutable. And the next data type is set data type. In a set data type, it is a unordered list of objects. It won't have any duplicate items. It can be initialized with set keyword. And one of the other main data type is key value paired data type, and it is called dictionary in Python. For accessing elements in a dictionary, we have a method called get. Using this method, we can access the elements from a dictionary. And for initializing a dictionary, we can use curly braces like this, or we can use dict keyword. And there are also string data type in Python, which can be which can store strings or characters. It can be initialized with a double or single inverted colon, single inverted commas. And there is also a Boolean data type in Python which can contain values true or false, and it can be initialized like this. These are the main data types that are built in Python.
All right, that's very good, Harold, because you have mentioned the example in chat, so that is commendable. Okay, what are different ways to concatenate two tuples?
Tuples can be concatenated with a plus symbol, just like we concatenate two strings. We can use addition symbols to concatenate tuple.
All right, okay. And what is a slice operator? Do you have any idea?
Yes, slice operator can be used. It is mainly used for printing a range of elements inside a list. So, for example, if we want to print first four elements of a list, we can use slice operator by using a colon inside square brackets. And if our list name is L1, for example, and we want to print first four elements, we can use slice operator like this to print the first four elements.
Okay, suppose if I'm pinging this string to you in the chat box, you can see there is a string good morning. And if I
Yes.
say that slice it to 2:5, you have to print str2:5. So what what will be the output?
Okay, for 2:5, we won't get the first three letters, that is G, O. No, we won't get first two letters, and we will get the rest of the three letters, that is O, D, and the space.
Okay. See, it starts from, okay, what you explained initially, it's the index should start from 0, right? So we are going to skip
Yes.
G, O, O, and then we are going to print. So the output will be OD space MO. Okay. So just
Okay.
move this a little. All right. Okay. Now next coming to what are the different types of functions that we have in Python?
In Python, we can classify functions based on the arguments that are given to a function. The first type is required arguments. For required arguments, the arguments are passed when calling the function in the same specific order. But for the second type, that is for keyword arguments, we can pass the arguments in any order, but we have to specify the name of the keyword when calling the function and passing the arguments. And the third type is default arguments. For default arguments, we can specify a default value for the arguments in the function itself. That is, for example, if we don't give a specific argument while calling the function will assume a value for that parameter. And the fourth type is variable arguments. For variable arguments, we can use an asterisk symbol in the function so that we can pass any number of arguments to the function. And we can use a for loop inside a function to access each and every arguments that are passed.
All right. That was very well explained. All right. Coming to next question. So can you define the class? And so suppose I give you an example of an employee class and it has the parameters as employee ID and name. So how will you create a class and a method inside it to print those two values? So can you just write that piece of code for me?
Yes, I'll write it and ping it in the chat.
Okay, yeah, please do it in the chat. Just ping the code there.
Okay.
Okay, I can see the code that you have printed. You've created the class.
I have used init for constructing the class, and now I have to make a method for printing and
Yeah. Create a method to print and then finally create an object of this class to call that particular method.
yes.
Are you able to do?
Yes, yes. No, 1 second.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't.
What is this name? Employee one dot name. Okay, this is the method. Okay. Okay, what is this init and self keyword that you've used here?
Mm, In a function, we can use init method as a constructor. So all the code inside the init method will be executed when we make an object. That is, in this example, when emp1 is created, the code inside the init method is executed. And self can be used for specifying or taking the specific instance of a class. It's like this keyword in Java. It can be used for accessing the variables or the parameters of that specific class.
Okay. Can I, if I write something else instead of self here, will it work?
No, self is a reserved keyword in Python, so we should use self when we are creating any classes.
Okay, just Herald, just to correct you here, self is not a keyword. We can write any variable here and replace it, and it's still going to work. Okay, but yes, self is used to refer to the instance of that particular object. Okay,
Okay.
so just remember that. And what is a pass statement?
Pass statement can be used for skipping a specific function. For example, if we use a if-else code and if we specify only a pass statement inside if there will be nothing printing or nothing executed if the if condition is true.
Okay. All right. What if I want to check whether a given string starts with a digit or not? So how can you do that?
Okay, if it's a string, we can access the first character of the string using zeroth index, and we can convert it into integer, and we can use each digit function inside Python to check if it's a digit. It's a built-in function inside Python language.
Which function did you say?
Is digit.
Is digit. Okay. Is there any other way that you're aware of? Any other way we can do this?
I don't know. I think we can try converting it into integer type, and if it's not an integer, it will throw an error.
So have you heard of regular expressions?
Yes, regular expressions can be used for matching a specific pattern inside a long text or a long string.
Okay, so in this particular condition, so first of all, tell me which class do we use for regular expressions in Java? What module do we have available in Python for regular expressions?
Mm, I think the module is called regex. It's used for regular expressions.
Are you sure?
I don't know. I have never used regular expressions before.
All right. Okay, no problem. So it is RE. Okay, that is the module, and it defines this, a lot of methods are inside it. So since you're not aware of it, just go through it once, and I think then you will have another way how we can solve this particular statement using regular expressions. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Harold. I think it was we are done with it, and we'll get back to you
Thank you.
in the next one. Thank you.
Thank you, Shraddha.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, hi, Harold.
Hi. Good evening.
Good evening, Harold. So, am I audible to you?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Harold, you have do you have any certifications on Python?
No, I'm self-taught. I don't have any certifications.
Are you interested in programming?
Yes, I'm very much interested.
Apart from programming, do you have any interest on database, UI, design?
Yes, I have also tried HTML and CSS, and I have also tried making small web pages.
Okay. So, do you have any idea about what kind of business TCS does?
Yes, TCS provides business solutions for technical problems all across the world.
Okay. Do you have any idea about any product that is being used in our India government services developed by TCS?
No, TCS Iron is used for education purposes by various organizations and schools, etc. I don't know if it's used by any government institutions.
Do you have a passport?
Yes,
So how did you apply?
I applied through Passport Seva Kendra, and I had to visit their offices, and there was a verification process for them.
Okay. That is the product developed by TCS which is being used. You are not aware of that?
No, I visited the offices, but I didn't notice it.
Okay, fine. So now you have technical skill sets. You have some idea about kind of business TCS does or the projects. So now, can you tell us for what kind of role do you think you will be more suitable with the skill set currently you are having?
Yes, I think I will be an asset to TCS if I am given a developmental role in any Python related projects. I'm very much interested in using Python and studying more things that are related to Python.
So, okay, fine, that is fine. But you see, our requirements are changing frequently because it is based on customers' requirement. Okay. So now Python may not be the technology which will be required for the project that you will be working. In that case, you may have to work in a different technology. Suppose you do not know that technology, as you have said that you are comfortable with Python. In that case, what will you do?
Yes, I think I can utilize the learning opportunities and various learning platforms that are provided by TCS so that I can develop myself in other areas also. And I'm comfortable and I'm confident that I can develop my knowledge in any other programming language because I was self-taught and I know the process of learning new languages.
Okay. How much time do you think you will require to learn a new language?
Yes, I think I can learn a language very fast. Maybe it always depends on the experience and the level of project I am doing as a beginner. If I start with a good base, I think I can develop and grow fast. I can specify a correct particular time period for studying a language, but I know I can do it in a good pace and I can deliver at the correct time.
Okay, Harold, do you have any idea about software development life cycle?
Mm, No, I have not worked in any professional development, so I don't have much idea about it.
So you have not heard about waterfall model, agile?
Yes, I have heard about agile technology, which is adopted in a large scale, and I know it's used for software development.
Okay, good to know that you have some understanding about agile methodology. Herald, suppose there is a situation where one of your colleague or team member in a project has to take an emergency because of an emergency situation in his family. He has to take a leave, and but we cannot hold the work or delivery, right? In that type of situation, if your project manager requests you to help you, how would you like to help?
Yes, I'll be 100% ready to step up in these situations. It can happen to any one of us, so it's only a good practice to have our own backs. We should help each other if such conditions arises. I think that's a good step to do, and I'm ready to do that.
Thank you, Haral. Nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Wish you
Hi,
all the
Harold.
best. I would like to hand over to Vishal for the
Yeah,
next round of interview.
yeah, thank you, Pragati. Thank you, Sprada. So, Harold, I will continue the same managerial round, which Pragati has asked few questions. See, first thing I'm interested to know, you mentioned that the whole Python programming you have learned yourself. So, was that not
Yes.
part of your college curriculum?
No, I did not graduate in a computer science
Okay.
degree, but I am a electrical and electronics engineering student.
Okay,
We did
okay.
not have Python in our curriculum.
Okay. So, what was your motivation behind learning Python, and why you selected Python only?
Yes, I started during the last time I was free when the lockdown started, and I was very much motivated to take Python because it was supported by a lot of people, and by a lot I mean the number of modules and the support it was getting from all platforms like Stack Overflow. It was very good, and I had a confidence that I can clear all my doubts if I use Python, and I did not have to stop, or I did not get stuck in the way because it was a very popular and supported language.
Okay, good. So as you said, you are from electrical engineering. Can you tell us something about your project which you would have done?
Yes, for our final year project, we developed a open loop and closed loop model for brushless DC motors, and the brushless DC motor is used in small fans. For example, we can see our computers, desktops have these small fans for airflow. The motors inside those are actually brushless DC motors. And the problem with those motors are that they have high torque ripples and they cannot be used in high power applications. So we designed a model for reducing torque ripples for those motors.
Okay. And what was the team size for this project?
There were only four members in our
Four
group.
members. Okay. So how the work was allocated?
Yes, the whole thing was done in a MATLAB software using simulation. So the whole circuit and the DC motor part was divided into different subsystems, and we had to create each subsystems and we had to assemble each parts, and we could simulate it very easily.
Okay. Fine. Then my final question, which is your favorite sport and why?
Right now, I am very much into football. I watch most of the games played at English Premier League. And,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. No, my question is why? Why football? Why not cricket?
Yes.
Okay, answer why football. Leave cricket aside.
Yes, football is my favorite because I started playing that and I have me and my friends used to play it in our college, and it is very entertaining and enjoyable time.
Okay, good. Okay, Harold, I think we are done. Any questions from your side before we wind up?
Yes, I would like to have, I would like to know your feedback on the whole interview that I have done, so that I can improve myself.
Sure, yeah. See, obviously, final outcome we cannot disclose because it is an interview, right? On
Yes.
feedback, I would say from interaction with me, pretty much, it was as per my expectations, right? I was trying to understand like how effectively you would work in a team. Okay. Next, trying to see like what exactly to what level you are passionate about. So from your answer to favorite sport as well as your response on why you learned Python yourself, right? So that's where I'm, yeah, I could clearly acknowledge you are on the right track. Okay. Spradha, Pragati, you want to share some feedback with him?
Yeah, Heran. See, when you are coming for an interview for an organization, definitely it is expected that you have some knowledge about the organization. Like for TCS, I asked you about any product being used in government organizations, India government organization developed by TCS, right? So many products are there, right? That is one expectation definitely from an organization when someone comes for interview for a position in that organization, right? And apart from that, yes, it being an IT industry and you worked in programming and application development, so little bit knowledge on software development life cycle, but glad to know that you are aware of agile methodology. So that is one. Rest is fine. And so, okay, that's all from my end. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Harold, from the technical point of view, I like the approach that you were giving examples in the chat window when you were being asked any questions. But yes, the topics like, regular expressions, and even if you're telling how we are writing a piece of code in a language, so those are very basics and you're already aware that will be that can be asked in the interview. Like, for example, suit is a very basic term, right? So those kind of things, just brush up your knowledge before, preparing for the interview. And similar to regular expressions, that is a very commonly asked topic. So, just have before going for any technical interview, just look at the topics, what are important topics that could be asked questions on. Based on that, select the topics and at least go through them once, right? And the approach of giving examples was very good. That you should follow in every technical interview.
Okay.
That's it from my end.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Spradha. Yeah, so to the audience, I hope you enjoyed this simulation. Yeah, I would like to highlight few things. See, at the time of technical interview, I was noting down certain points and would like to share. These are the best practices. If you look, see, Harald, he was trying to respond on chat. Okay. See, that is the best way if you are being interviewed on camera. I'm sure you will have chat option either on WebEx or any other platform is being used. Wherever you feel, please leverage that option. Correct. So that, your clarity would come out. And because the technical things are like, if you keep on thinking a lot, it becomes difficult to express. Okay. So that was one good thing he did. Plus, he was very clear certain things. If he has not worked on, politely he has denied that, no, I don't have any exposure to these things. Okay. Please do that. Okay. Instead of trying to make out and convince the interview panel that you know something, it's not required. Okay. Be honest, be genuine while answering to these questions. Okay. Next, see, for any technology, if you see how Spradha started, she mentioned that in Harald's resume, Python is something very specifically mentioned that he is good at. Correct. So either you can expect interview to be started that way, or interviewer might ask you which are the technologies you have good exposure. Okay. So always answer the best one as first. Most likely your major questions will be around that technology. Correct. Because if that is where you are the best, you are likely to answer more, and all your answers on technology will be directly proportional to how much hands-on coding you have done. Okay. So either is this Python or Java or UI or SQL or anything. Okay. More hands-on you have done, yes, more clarity you will have in your response. Okay. Just trying to go back when Harald was explaining the collections, list, tuple, it was very much reflecting he has done enough hands-on and he is quite aware about these concepts. Okay. And then on the top, yes, regular expressions, he needs some more refinement over there. But yeah, from interview perspective, this is the most convincing thing that the basics he is good at. Okay. And on the top of, I think, see, many of you students, you will have this kind of questions. I am not from IT background. How will I respond? You have live example here. Harald is from electrical engineering, right? He himself initiated this Python learning, and just, you can look at the level he is responding. Okay. And guys, if you clear this interview, you will be part of our TCS Explore. So that is again one freshers training program. And if you clear Explore before joining TCS, there are some very good incentives. I would like to acknowledge Harald was one of the associate who cleared Explore program before joining this. Okay. So it's nothing like computer science, non-computer science. If you are passionate about, yes, you can definitely clear TCS interview. On the top, you can clear even our Explore program. All right. Few more things, yes, as Pragati clearly mentioned, when you are appearing for interview, you should explore about their organization. Okay, what is TCS? What are major business areas where TCS products are being used? Right? Say passport seva is completely owned by TCS. But I also acknowledge Harald is quite aware about our TCS Ion, okay, which is equally important to the country. Most of the competitive exams are managed by TCS Ion, including your JEE, NEET, everything. Okay, so yes, that knowledge you should know. Try to also understand little bit of organization structure. Who is the current CEO, right? Who was the previous CEO of TCS, Mr. N. Chandra, who is now chairman of our Tata Group. See, these basic things will definitely impress the interviewer in managerial round. Okay. Final note, your willingness to take up any role, work on any technology. There is no constraint in terms of location, timing, because that is what IT industry is all about. Okay, IT industry, see why IT business is booming, why IT always remains on top. It is because of our alignment to uncertainty. Right? Things are uncertain. How quickly we adapt, how quickly we accept and we align. That's where the industry grows, and that's where we also grow in our career. Okay, so guys, these were the tips for today. Previous session recording was also shared in the community. Today also we will be sharing this recording. Please go through previous session also, which was on Java, because every session will have different kind of simulation and different tips to be shared with you guys. Okay. So thanks all. Before concluding, Pragati, Sprada, Herald, if you have any suggestions for the audience, please feel free to share. Yeah, Herald, you are the first senior to them. If you want to give some suggestions, right? You are on video.
Yes, I would like to suggest that all of you should start by doing some hands-on, and it's the most important thing so that we are familiar with everything, and we know we will come to know the basics of the language, and the more we do, the more we can learn, and we will always come across new things, and we have technology with us so that we have many platforms, and we can always get our doubts or anything clarified. It's just a few keywords, few searches away. I think you should utilize that.
Okay, thank you, Herald. Sprada, Pragati, any final suggestions, guidelines? Yeah, please.
Yeah. So as Herald has already mentioned, practice means we do not want a theoretical knowledge. We want your ability to implement the concepts to solve problem. So in that direction, always prepare. When you are going to learn a concept, always try to understand what will be the uses of that concept, how it is being used, for what kind of problem solving you can use it. Okay, so in that way you prepare. That means we want to know how much you are exposed to the concepts, means with hands-on. That means practical exposure to the concept. That is very important. And as Vishal has already given you the hints, work in that area. Definitely you will do well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pragati. Yes, Sprada.
Yeah, I think it's the same Vishal has mentioned by all of you.
Okay. Okay, thank you all. Thanks for your time. We can close this session, and our next session will be on Friday. Friday's simulation will be on the topic of UI basics, right? HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and we will be sharing few more guidelines. Okay, so please try to join. Yeah, thank you. We can close this session.